I don't want to be the biggest, I just want to be the best. Have you ever said that to yourself? I know I have, and it's a totally cool goal to have. So in today's video, I'm going to step you through why it's okay to not be the biggest, but just be the best. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Ellen from Rent Roll Starter, and in today's video I want to talk to you about this one phrase that I hear all the time from business owners, and I say myself as well. It's this line about, I don't want to be the biggest, I just want to be the best. And I think sometimes as business owners we feel a bit like we're never going to be as big as that major franchise down the road, and that means that if we're not going to be as big as them, we're never going to be the best. And I think it's just really important to remember that it's okay to not want to be the biggest, but to always want to be the best. And I think being the best version of ourselves and having the best version of our own business and having the best version of the service we provide to our landlords and tenants is a really noble goal to have. However, being the biggest isn't really a necessary goal. So I'm going to step you through 3 things that I suggest you do just to get clear on what your version of success is, so that you don't get caught up in comparing yourself to the major franchise down the road who seems to be killing it. But when you look at them, you feel this mix of jealousy, envy, but also, oh my goodness, I would never want to have a business like that. So I want to share with you 3 things that I encourage you to do just to help keep your comparison envy in check. So the first thing I encourage you to do is just define your version of success. So for me, my version of success is working maybe 30 hours a week. I'm not really big on working full-time in my business, and that's really important to me. However, I know that because I choose not to work 40 hours a week in my business, then I'm probably not going to get the growth that I might get if I worked 40 hours a week. Your version of success might be that you do want to end up with a number of staff in your team, and so to be able to achieve that you might have to work your 40 hours a week, and some weeks it might be 50. Think about your own version of success in terms of what stuff you want around you, as in what sort of a house do you want to live in, what sort of a car do you want to drive, so that you're very clear that when the agency owner down the road picks up a fancy car, if your goal is not to have a fancy car, you're okay with the fact that they've got a fancy car, but that's actually not your version of success. You might actually want to not have a car at some stage in your life. You might want to get to a stage where you can live within walking distance to your office and all the properties you manage, and you can just own a bike. That might be your version of success. So get really clear on what's your version of success. Then step 2 is celebrate others, but remember your own version of success. So when your friend purchases a big fancy car, absolutely celebrate that for them, because if that's a goal that they wanted to achieve, then this is worthy of celebration. However, it's not a time for you to feel jealousy or envy, because if your version of success doesn't include a big fancy car, then please don't compare yourself to that. So just keep that in check. Remember what your version of success is, and still celebrate other people's success. But just remember that when they get the big fancy car that you don't actually want, you don't need to feel less successful just because you don't want it. I'm totally guilty of this one. Every now and then I get car envy, and I drive just a little Suzuki Swift myself that is a lovely little compact car, and I would never want anything bigger than that car. However, when someone gets a big fancy Mercedes, I have this moment of, oh my goodness, I feel so envious, and maybe I should be driving a big fancy Mercedes with red seats. And then I sort of bring myself back into check, and I go, oh, actually, I don't want a car with leather seats. That's something that I really would never want. And that's a value of mine that I don't want to have. So I have to keep that envy in check and remind myself that it's awesome for someone else to get their beautiful Mercedes. However, it's not something that's on my list of goals to achieve. So I can celebrate their success. However, I need to remember what my version of success actually is. So it's just good to separate that comparison, because that can happen really easily in business and in relation to financial goals and that sort of thing. But then the third step is to celebrate your own success. And I mean really celebrate it. So when something goes right, when you hit a goal, when you achieve a target, when you achieve something that you've had on your vision board or on your to-do list that was a really big thing for you to achieve, and it's something that makes you your version of successful, you need to celebrate it. So for me, I have a little bit of a celebration routine, and I want to step you through it. When I have a big win, either in business or at home, if I achieve a big goal or something like that, usually I'll run out into the living room to tell my husband Matt, and then the first thing I do is I put on the song Happy by Pharrell Williams, and I dance in the living room for the entire song. And that is my way of doing a major celebration. And the reason I do this is because I want to wire my brain to be rewarded and celebrate the things that I want to achieve. So for me, every time I hear that song, that's a great big celebratory moment, and it makes me want to dance. And sometimes I convince Matt to dance with me, but don't judge him for that. So that's how I celebrate my wins. And sometimes I'll do something extra as well, like book in for a facial or you know, go out to dinner with Matt or something like that as well. But usually it's this simple little step of putting on Happy by Pharrell Williams, having a dance in the lounge room, and really celebrating whatever it is that I achieved. So I encourage you to create your own little celebration ritual, and if you feel brave enough, put a little comment in the comment section below and let me know what's your celebration ritual going to be. So just keep these things in mind. When you're saying to yourself, I don't want to be the biggest, I just want to be the best, remember, what's your version of success? Be willing to celebrate other people's success, but don't compare it to your own. And then make sure you celebrate your own wins. So just set aside time to acknowledge yourself when you do achieve something that you know, is on your goals list or is part of your success definition. So if you're needing any help with getting clear on what your version of success is and then getting committed to those goals, I've created a little workbook on the 4 steps to total commitment, and this will just help step you through the process of getting really committed on your success goals. So you can download that from rentrollstarter.com.au/commit, and it's a little workbook that you can work through just to get clear and committed to your success goals, not somebody else's, yours. So I'm really keen to hear how you go with that. So download that when you get a moment and let me know in the comments below, what is going to be your success ritual? It might be a little dance, it might be going away for a weekend, it might be getting a manicure, it might be just taking the time to walk along the beach barefoot without your mobile phone. So it just needs to be something that's a little bit special and is acknowledged in yourself for achieving whatever it is that your version of success is. So remember, it's okay to not want to be the biggest, it's okay to want to be the best, you just got to get clear on what your version of the best is. I'm Ellen from Rent Roll Starter, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.